Alright, so, good morning guys. First of all, sorry I'm late. But yeah, I'll be doing my topic today on conflict resolution. So a few things we're going to talk about today are its purpose, some different ways to resolve conflicts, finding your style, some tips and tricks, and then lastly, just kind of managing your emotions after a conflict. So, first of all, what is it? Well, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's in its name, but to get really into it, it is when two or more parties find a peaceful solution to a disagreement. The key word there is peaceful. Why is peaceful important? Well, that leads to that, and you don't want that. Okay? In Canada, just for punching someone in the face, you can get charged for assault, which can lead to up to 18 months in jail. And I don't think you want to spend 18 months behind bars. But yeah, so just a brief definition of assault over here. It's basically any force, or even the thought of putting force to someone. The person can sue you and you can go to jail. So let's just talk about some different styles now. Okay, there's going to be about 5 we're going to cover. The first style is the avoiding style. So this method is basically used as a way to run away from the problem. It is a way to resolve, but this person who uses it believes that the conflict will resolve itself. The second style is the accommodating style. This method puts the interest of the other parties over your own. So, kind of like today, if I was late and I made Caleb go first, I'd be very accommodating to Caleb. I owe you coffee. You have the compromising style, which is where you and the other parties go have some back and forth, but you don't fully get what you want, and they don't fully get what they want. This one says there, you win some, you lose some. The fourth style is the competing style, which is the exact opposite of the accommodating style, which is where you're putting your own interests first and basically putting the other parties kind of below you. When this happens, there tends to be more tension and the conflict just carries on longer. And then the last one we're going to be talking about is the collaborating style. This one by far takes the most time and energy because there is continuous back and forth and negotiations, but in the very end, everyone is happy, everyone gets what they want, and no one should be left kind of out to dry and sad. Finding your style. So what I'm trying to say here is different situations warrant a different type of style, okay? Let's take, for example, a parking lot. You're driving in a pretty busy parking lot, you find a space, you sign in, and then some other person comes in and just steals your spot. Would it be worth it to get out of your car and start an argument with them? Or just let it be? I would say just let it be. It's not worth your time. In that case, the avoiding style would probably be the best case. In another situation where, let's say you're at work, you have an argument between you and your boss, or maybe you're a teacher, and you're having an argument between you and a parent, or you and a supervisor. Maybe avoiding it is not the best idea because you have that relationship that you need to keep going. So either maybe you can compromise or collaborate, but the key there is when you do that style, when you do that style, is that there's an important kind of relationship between you and the other parties. With any type of conflict resolution, you need to create boundaries and find your non-negotiables. So what that means is finding what you truly believe in and what you just won't move on. This will vary depending on basically anyone, but the one thing that should always be there is this. Verbal harassment and abuse should not be tolerated. The moment a complaint turns into a personal attack towards you, you end the conversation and just leave it at that. If they can't be mature about it and find like a good way to come across, end the conversation, right? Not worth the time. But at the same time, angry people don't filter what they say. They just kind of go right out about it, right? You're a teacher, parent comes in, and they're complaining that you gave their child a really bad mark, and they just went off on you. Just remember that sometimes parents are very protective of their children. Yeah, don't mess with Mama Papa Bear, okay? Now let's talk about just a few tips on how to handle some conflicts. The first one is to listen very attentively. Listen to what the actual complaint is and separate the complaints from just nonsense or other things that aren't related, right? Things like them talking about how you look or how you smell, I don't know, don't relate to a problem at hand unless it's actually like, a problem. Remain calm. Don't be reactive to an angry person, right? And if you react to someone who's just angry, they'll just burst into flames even more. Remain calm and keep neutral tones. A tip for this would be to use I statements, right? You and another person are talking. Instead of saying, you should do this, you should do that, change that around and make it become I feel like this. I feel this should be this. This way the other person doesn't feel attacked, and you kind of have, and they have that empathy where, okay, this person understands what I'm saying because they can relate. The last one is to be patient, right? Some conflicts could take a while, so just take your time to gather all the facts and be patient. And then lastly is to manage your emotions. After a conflict, it can be pretty stressful. So just 2 things that you can do is take a break, right? Just afterwards, you're just feeling super stressed out, take a short break, take a deep breath, have some chocolate, something that you enjoy, right? And something that I think really helps for me is just talk to someone you trust, okay? Vent, 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 it helps. Just talking to someone you trust gives that pressure off your back and just lets you keep on moving. You guys have any questions?
Is there a major conflict that you have had to resolve? That you could give us an example of?
Good question. Give me like major conflict.
It's like the job interview question.
Yeah. Okay, so as you guys might already know, I coach volleyball for youth teams, and one major conflict within that was that these two girls are fighting over a person, and I don't know how it came to me, but basically I had to talk to them separately, find out what was happening, put the two stories together, and try to make sense out of it. Because youth sometimes, when they conflict, when they talk about things, they can make it super extravagant, right? But then if you bring it back down to its root or its base, you can figure it out pretty quickly. And if it's not something super major, you can basically just put the stories together, bring them back in, and have them converse, and you listen, and then, yeah, they converse, you listen, and then you're basically a mediator. It's like, okay, this happened, this happened. And at the very end, I think I did a pretty good job. They end up being friends again. So yeah.
What made you decide to do this for your topic? Like, do you feel very strongly about conflict resolution, or?
Well, I just thought, like, this is something good just for everyone to kind of know, especially because we're all going to be going into that kind of teaching field where every day will not be the same, right? Every year won't be the same. You know, different set of kids, different personalities, and just having that skill set or having that knowledge of, like, hey, this isn't the only way to do things. There's some other ways we can help out and stuff.
Can I ask you a question, John? Do you know, at UBC, when you do your teacher training, do they have courses in this to help you prepare for what I know you will face?
I am not 100% sure, but actually, I actually don't know if there's going to be a course on something like this.
Yeah.
But based on just other teachers that I know who
Yeah.
kind of went through it, they were like, they did a little bit, but they didn't feel prepared for it.
That's right. Yeah. I did none. I had none when I did my teacher training at SFU. And so then, you know, when you're doing your first and second year of teaching, like for me, that was the most surprising revelation about the trial of fire that you go through the first couple of years, and not being prepared to handle conflicts with students, but also conflicts with parents. Like, there was no training on how to handle that. Yeah, so, you know, it's something like when you leave UBC and you haven't got that training, it should be feedback that you leave for them, because it's something, yeah, that should be addressed in their curriculum to help you feel more prepared. Because I definitely think the parent scene, like over the last 30 years for sure, has become much more vocal and strong. Yeah, and I think in BC we're kind of lucky because you're more supported as a teacher compared to elsewhere. The only thing I'd add to your presentation, like, thank you also, it's a huge topic. The one thing you should do when you are engaged in like an active conflict as a teacher is to document right away. The minute like there's something active going on, like you start a file. In my days it was a file, but now I just open up a Word document and I have a separate folder for like student discipline, and you just start logging what's happening. Because like something that happens in January, by the time keeps developing in March or April, you will have forgotten those initial interactions or scenes. Yeah, so document, document, document. Yeah, so important. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Any other questions for John? That was great.